At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Can you feel it in the air? That sudden shift of mood? It's the perfect time to shed the winter blues and experience the revitalizing qualities of driving a Lincoln. It starts with the Lincoln Spring Sales Event. So step outside and visit your local Lincoln retailer or Lincoln.com for some seriously mood-enhancing offers on current and past Lincoln models. Your transformation awaits. Learn more at Lincoln.com.
This episode is brought to you by Global X. Since 2008, Global X ETFs has been committed to empowering investors with unexplored, intelligent solutions. Global X specializes in exchange-traded funds that offer exposure to the artificial intelligence ecosystem, including themes like data centers, robotics, semiconductors, and cloud computing. To learn more about Global X's entire suite of ETFs, from covered calls, fixed income, emerging markets, and more, visit globalxetfs.com.
Welcome to a brand new episode of DBM, aka Don't Blame Me. This is a podcast where you can write in, call in, fill out a form, send us a DM.
And you can also watch on Patreon where you can see me mime everything. And if you're wondering, wow, you are so good at miming, I'm actually a casting director. Have you had any interest in acting? And I would say, oh my God, of course. I have agents. You can reach out to my rep. You can also just DM me. I'm available.
Well, okay. As I was saying, put your fucking tongue in your mouth.
Oh my God, she's lying to you. Go watch the Patreon. My tongue is nowhere near outside of my mouth. My tongue was so firmly inside my mouth.
So you participate by calling in, writing in, all the things I said. You can also email meghanpodcast@gmail.com or give us a little ring-a-ding-ding at 310-694-0976.
You're getting really good.
I always want to swap the 7 and the 9. That's Melissa, the issue.
You of all people know how long it took me to nail that one down. I will never judge you. I can hop in for the last 4 digits because, again, if I have to call anyone, I just think
the last 3. The last 3.
Oh, perfect.
I got the 0.
Hey, it used to be the last 4 a couple weeks ago. So yeah. I think you're nailing it. It is my contribution because if I'm in an emergency, it is the only number I can call.
Yeah. So, give us your fake name, your age, always, your pronouns if you'd like to, and share the predicament that you're in your life.
You do have limitations though. If it is written, whether a DM or an email, you have to keep it under 300 words. And if it is a voicemail or a voice memo for you international listeners or watchers, you have to keep it under 3 minutes. And you'd be agent over a parent's or have your parents' permission. And don't lie to us about that. Don't lie. Lie about your name, not your age.
My niece has started listening. The oldest one.
I didn't feel like we needed to clarify. No. I would have been terrified if it was any other one.
She's 18 now. And she's also doing the graphics on the business Instagram.
I thought she was.
She was like, yeah, I was listening in class. Y'all got all the tea. And I said, don't listen.
And we can't stop her now. She's 18.
I know.
Fuck. People who are related to us shouldn't
listen. No.
I would never listen to a podcast from someone I'm related to. Mats and his brother had a podcast for 5 seconds. And I was like, I'm not listening. You talked about golf for 2.5 hours.
So interesting. Why isn't it going anymore?
Oh, great question. The only person who listened was my brother-in-law's in-laws. So my sister-in-law's parents.
Mm-hmm.
So shall we change some hearts, some minds, some lives? And if the title of the podcast, the name of the podcast, Don't Blame Me, didn't give you any indication, we are not responsible for it unless it goes well, and then we would like to claim responsibility. But if it does go poorly, not so much.
Here we go. 26, she, her. I have a great boyfriend. Let's call him Ron. 27, he, him. Ron and I have been together for 3 years. We have lived together for over a year. About 6 months ago, we were in a rough spot, but we've worked through it now. During the rough spot, I discovered Ron was talking to girls on Hinge. He never actually met up with anyone, but he said he was doing it for attention. I, of course, confided in my friends about it. They told me to break up with him because this was a form of cheating. I don't see it that way, since when I needed a little extra attention, I flirted with other guys all the time. Anyway, like I said, we worked it out. Now my friends not only hate Ron, but they have stopped talking to me as well. Now I'm lonely and only have Ron to lean on. How do I get them to see that if I've forgiven Ron, they should too?
You're not gonna like my advice.
I don't think you're gonna like our advice at all. If you don't want your friends to have opinions, don't tell them. And you can't have any control over, just because you forgave him doesn't mean that they can and will or are okay with you still being with him.
Yeah. I think that like you saying that they've stopped talking to you as well, that to me is like very telling, because like people we tell our friends things about our relationships, or our friends will tell us things about their relationships that, yeah, we keep score. You shouldn't keep score in your own relationship. We're keeping score.
Yep.
And your friends are also entitled and allowed to not like your partner. Like, that's totally allowed. And they don't have to forgive them. And I think that like you also don't need them to forgive him. And that shouldn't affect, if you're happy with your decision, it doesn't matter what other people think about your decision. You don't care about their input. You don't need, like, you'd made your call. This is what you feel comfortable with or whatever. But I think in general, like when you're seeking friends to validate you or back you up or drop however they feel about a person, he needs to prove it to the other people in your life. Like, he's proven it to you. And in general, in relationships, like that's how it works. Like, it's the same thing when you like talk to like a older sibling or a parent about like a shitty friend situation. And most of the time they'll remember, because you have the repertoire between the two of you. And so they can earn your trust back and like win you back. They have more opportunities. They don't have as many of those opportunities with friends. So I think in general, you have to be confident with the decisions that you make and know that other people, even if the decisions don't directly affect them, they cannot like those decisions. And they can also make decisions on their life based on that. And that's like a tough part, but I don't think it's about trying to get them to see anything. I think it's about finding other friends and finding people who you care about and all of that. And I think if it becomes a reoccurring issue, then I think, yeah, examine the relationship. But I think if you're confident in the relationship, then you have to act confident in the relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. If you were talking to them just to vent, it still doesn't matter. Like, even like, you can't just think that people are going to have an opinion about what you have. Like, they're still human. And at the end of the day, you were pissed at him, or else you wouldn't have said anything to them. So like point. You knew that you wanted them to back you up in your feelings, and they did. And now that you've gotten over whatever it was that y'all were going through, then that doesn't mean that they have to.
You're right. They had the exact reaction you were looking for the first time, and you want them to backtrack on it, and they're not. And I mean, I don't want to come across like insensitive, but like I'm actually impressed with these former friends of yours for like putting their foot down and like not continuing a relationship with you, because a lot of the time in these instances, they would probably just pull back and be shitty friends and not like cut you off. And so I think like, as not to sound toxic positivity, but like looking at that as like a blessing, like you're not wondering what happened. You know exactly what happened. They didn't breadcrumb you along. They didn't just like were being shitty friends and then you had to end it. Like they kind of, and it's pretty cut and dry. And so I think it's unfortunately like a tough lesson to learn. But I also view it in the sense that like I might not have like directly ended friendships because of it, but I've ended friendships or changed my perception of the friendship and factored in how like former friends of mine, how they would talk about their other friends that I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And like not negatively, but like I knew someone who it clicked for me one day that I felt uncomfortable when they were telling me like an update with their friend's life who I had never met. And I was like, this is so personal. I should not I shouldn't know this. Like, and then I realized, wow, if I was asked to write down everything I know about this person who's a friend of a friend, who again, I have never met, the only 5 things, or not the first at least 5 things that I could write, probably even 10, are incredibly heavy, traumatic things that this person has gone through that I've never met, that they wouldn't tell me the first time they met me. And so if you think about it in the sense of like, it's not just about, oh, they don't like my boyfriend, so therefore they're not going to be friends with me anymore. How can and this, I don't want to sound harsh, but it's also like, we also are affected by how we see other people react to things and what they put up with in their life, or what they normalize, or what they're okay with, or how they treat people, or how they talk about people, or whatever. And like, sometimes it's just like, it just doesn't align with their views, and it doesn't really matter the reason why, but the reasons can also be like, they have gone through something similar, and like, that was betrayal. And for you to not say it like, oh, I don't really view it as cheating. If that happened to one of them and they viewed it as cheating, that sounds like you don't think I was actually cheated on, and you think that I should have stayed with this person. Mm-hmm. And that's not maybe how you feel, but everybody has their own hard line boundaries. So I don't think it's about winning these friends back. I think it's about making new friends.
Agree. You want friends. There's different types of friends. And there's some friends you can tell things to, and there's some friends that you can't. There's some people that you can talk about or do things that, and then there's other people you can't. You have to realize like what kind of friends you have and what kind of things you can and can't tell them. And if you are somebody that needs to tell your friends everything and you're not in therapy, might suggest you get a therapist.
And also, even if like you can narrow down what friends you can say what to, you have to be okay with whatever decision you make and however they feel about it. Mm-hmm. There be like, I'll tell Melissa like I'll tell you everything.
I tell Megan everything, but there's other friends that I won't tell goddamn things.
Yeah, and it's like, I know that neither one we're both like very candid with each other, but like we also trust each other's judgment of like whatever. But also at the same time, with love, if I wasn't looking for advice, Melissa wouldn't give me advice. But even if she did, I wouldn't care, and I wouldn't like. I wouldn't be like, oh, that was really, or like, I wouldn't think anything of it, because I go, it would just, the decision I'm making is the decision that I'm making. And like, I'm confident enough in that like, even the people I care about the most and like my closest friends, they could say something. It's not going to make me annoyed with them or think differently of them or change my mind on my decision. Mm-hmm. If I'm looking for feedback, I'll ask for that. But in general, you should be so confident in your decisions that other people aren't swaying you and wavering you. But if you're looking for input and then you make the opposite decision, that also feels like annoying as a friend, because you're like, why did I give you all this advice or this, whatever all that is?
Yeah. But like, there are some people in my life that are so judgmental, and I don't tell them anything that's going on in my life.
Yeah.
And then they get mad when they realize, oh, you told Megan? Yeah. Because that's my best friend. You're not. And I'm sorry, but you're just not my, I'm not as close to you as you think we are.
That part's always wild to me, because I'm like, you know what? Give me, like, cite the examples in which you thought we were best friends, not you were my best friend or I was your best. Like, because I'm like, what an odd best friend relationship when you talk at me and I don't share anything.
Yeah. Yep.
Peculiar.
And I'll also say things about them to Megan. I'll never talk about Megan to them.
Oh.
Because why?
Perfect and lovely.
Right.
I think that those kinds of people where everything's so cut and dry, they tend to have the only sort of interpersonal conflict they've ever had is watching reality shows. And I'm like, you don't have the bandwidth to understand nuance. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You don't have the range.
No. Oof. That cuts.
All right, we're going to take a break.
We are so excited to have a brand new sponsor, and I'm feeling very cool because Jesse and Lily are sponsored by OneSkin, and now we are.
Yay!
We are finally here. Skincare, we love skincare. We're all about it. And let's talk about peptides for a minute. If you're like me, you're seeing them everywhere. Peptide this, peptide that, peptide. It's almost a tongue twister. Just because something says peptide on it doesn't actually mean that it's really doing anything for you, but that is where OneSkin's OS1 peptide is different. Some peptides just sit on top of the skin, and OS1 goes deeper. It's scientifically formulated to penetrate the cells within skin's deeper layers, which improves key skin health markers like collagen production, hydration, and my personal uphill battle constantly, skin barrier function.
I think that's both of our uphill battles.
Truly.
I was so excited to get this as well because I just ran out of my other moisturizer, so it was perfect timing. Not only is OS1 proven to remain stable from the lab to the countertop, so you get reliable results every time. And guys, listen, if you're not getting results from your peptides, it might be time to take a closer look. All of OneSkin's topical supplements are backed by lab and clinical studies. And they're all powered by OS1 peptide, the first and only peptide that is scientifically proven to target senescent cells that contribute to lines, wrinkles, and thinning skin. Try OneSkin with an exclusive 15% off your first purchase using Blame Me at oneskin.co.
I love these products. I've been trying out the Essential Moisturizer and the Essential Eye Cream. And for me, eye cream is one of those things that like, I love a little luxury eye cream. I love to like feel that, but specifically the older that I get, and also sometimes if my sleep is not that great, I really notice the lines under the eyes, and I always want my makeup to apply better. And what I love about this is it looks so nice if I put it on, no makeup on, but I also can apply makeup on it. It's not just for like that really rich overnight kind of a thing. It's really a daily thing that you can use, and it just looks and feels really good. And the moisturizer,
oh, can I talk about that? Because sometimes my skin is very dry and scaly. Sometimes my skin is very oily. Sometimes my skin, I'm like, what even is this? But this face moisturizer is perfect. It goes on very smooth. It's not too thick, but you can feel the moisture in it. And then afterwards, after it's like really soaked in, you can just feel just how supple your skin is.
That's the perfect word, supple. And just like us, OneSkin loves science. So glad to hear. We love science in this house.
We do love science.
And OneSkin's entire R&D process is run in-house, strictly adhering to the rigor of scientific process from start to finish. Every claim is based on lab or clinical studies, and it's documented.
Founded and led by an all-woman team of skin and longevity scientists, OneSkin is redefining the aging process with their proprietary OS1 peptide, the first ingredient proven to help skin look, feel, and behave like its younger self.
Get 15% off with code BLAMEME at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code BLAMEME. After your purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Invest in the health and longevity of your skin with OneSkin. Your future self will thank you. Hi, it's Megan.
And Melissa.
If you're like us and you're always searching for the next great book, then we have the perfect show recommendation. The Webby Award-winning podcast, Totally Booked with Zibby.
Formerly called Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books, Totally Booked delivers daily interviews with best-selling authors in just 30 minutes or so. Hosted by Zibby Owens, the powerhouse bookstore owner and best-selling author dubbed NYC's most powerful bookfluencer by Vulture. Needless to say, Zibby's redefining what it means to be a book lover. And with so few daily book podcasts out there, this one is a must listen.
Looking for somewhere to start? They just released an episode with stand-up comedian Chelsea Handler about her brand new book, I'll Have What She's Having. It'll definitely get you laughing. Not to mention, other recent guests include award-winning actor and model Brooke Shields on her new memoir and New York Times bestselling author Gabby Bernstein on self-help techniques she's personally found most useful.
So don't miss out. Follow Totally Booked with Zibby on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening now.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
And we're back.
We're back and it's time for the next. Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I've been listening since the beginning and love you both. Oh, I was waiting till you said your age. You're saying that later. I get nervous when you say I've been listening from the beginning. Sometimes people say that and it turns out they're only just turning 18. I've worked a few internships at small nonprofits, but I just got my first full-time permanent job with benefits at a pretty well-funded nonprofit. Here's my dilemma. I, 24, she, her, am 1 month in and I'm getting all of my work done in the first 2 hours of my 8-hour day at the office. Don't tell anybody that. I am bored out of my mind. I do crosswords, I've listened to some audiobooks, and of course listened to all of your new episodes and re-listened to the classics. That still leaves me a lot of free time. I feel guilty, but I've asked for more work and haven't gotten it yet. My supervisor is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Shut the fuck up. Imagine if Michael B. Jordan was a white French-Canadian woman. I'm just fucking with you. I love that. Thank you so much. For real, though, she tells me I'm doing a great job and just to take it easy. Do you have any tips for productive or just have fun ways to kill time in the office? Thank you.
Girl,
You are by the way, this in nonprofit is like insanity. Like this is in any work, like in any workplace, like this is an amazing problem to have. In the nonprofit sector is fucking crazy.
don't do things where it looks like you're not working. So don't do crossword puzzles. Don't, like, you can listen to music, listen to podcasts, but I need you to always look busy, because what could one of two things can happen. You're obviously doing the work that you were paid for, which is great. Mm-hmm. Then they'll start giving you more work without additional pay. We don't want that. Or they're going to cut your hours and then you lose your benefits. We also don't want that. So you just need to look busy at all times. Listen to your podcast, listen to music, listen to audiobooks, but I need you to be clicking, tap, 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 reading emails, scrolling, looking at the work messenger. Work slower too.
That's what I was going to say.
Work so much slower. Take breaks, go talk to your coworkers. Do never look like you're not doing something that's work related.
Yeah, that was going to be my whole advice, is that you need to break up your day, because it seems like you're aware of your tasks. Like you're getting all of your work done the first 2 hours of an 8-hour day at the office. That I have a really hard time believing is 2 hours worth of work. I think you're probably going a little too hard. Mm-hmm. Like if you set the precedent that you go above and beyond, or you work really fast, you will, like Mel said, you'll get other people's tasks put on you for no extra pay. And also, if you're 23, so you're like pretty fresh out of college. I actually don't know when you end college. You're 24. But like, it is not you're not going to be able to work most people's 8-hour workday in 2 hours for a long, substantial period of time. So going out of your way to pace yourself now, even if it feels like silly, will benefit you beyond just this job. So I think section your day to the hours like before lunch, then morning through late morning, and then the lunch times, like an hour before lunch, the hour lunch or whatever, the little time after lunch, and then the other half of the day. So like 3 sectors. So it's not just like 2, because you don't want, you want to have it be enough. So like usually for the last one, you can kind of just be like tip tapping on the phone. And so break those up and get the emails done, get the things done that have to be done timely, and make a lot of lists. Mm-hmm. Like do a lot of lists like that. Make sure you're on the computer opening things. You've got like different windows on open at the time. Mott's always has his, like if he's like, what is he calls it, modeling? And I'm always like, Vogue, work baby, but he works in finance. But he'll have like his iPad and he'll have just like a movie on in the background as he's like tapping on that. So I think if you're trying to do anything additional that doesn't look like work, it has to be a second screen and it has to be a smaller screen. You can't be doing work on your iPad or on your phone and then have something on your big computer. It has to be the other way around. And I think like one of the, I'm not gonna say few benefits of working in nonprofit. And I can say this because
you come from nonprofit family.
I come from this. Think of a Nepo baby for nonprofits. Yep, there's no money involved. There you go. You get the workaholism with none of the financial benefits. One of the benefits of few of them is networking and like meeting people from like totally different areas, and especially like donors and like people who work within that who are like you would never come across in general. So I think like I would recommend, you don't want to be out of the office too much because people do think even if you're taking a lot of out of the office meetings, it's like they're not working at all. But like even doing stuff like that where it's like if you want to do a little bit farther of a lunch and then be like, oh, I'm going to meet up with this donor, have a conversation about X, Y, like we're going to have a work lunch. I'm going to work through whatever that is. And then it's farther and you're in a car in the commute or whatever, you're on a train or something. So I think finding ways that you can utilize the benefits of your job that's not creating new work, but like maintaining relationships or building relationships with people, I think is a really good thing to do. And then I think this is can be very tricky and it depends on if you're friends with someone or you're not. But I think I always appreciate it. And it's obviously different in school because you're not getting paid and you can be taken advantage of in that instance. But like if you know somebody is gearing up to go on maternity leave or whatever, and like being like, hey, like, I know you're going on maternity leave. Like, let me know if you want to send some stuff my way and I can help finish this for whatever, or someone's sick or whatever. So like, I think like, don't be so in your own world that you're like shut off from, you're pretending to work so hard while you're having fun that you're completely numb to the rest of the office in the world. But I think it can be a good opportunity to like get to know coworkers who you might like, but also who might be leaving soon, who might have a job opening coming up that you might be able to get promoted. Yeah,
even if like the job that the next step that you want, being like, hey, I've got like an hour free. Can I just come sit with you while but don't do this. This needs to be like a once a week and thing, not something every day.
Vet who you're doing that with so much, especially if it's someone who works above you and it's kind of like offering something like, hey, I saw you've got this thing. Let me get like, let me clear this off your plate and I can do this. Would love to sit down.
Or I can shadow you for a moment.
But make sure you're doing that in a very selective way. But I think you should, pretend to be more busy than you are, but don't do that so isolated by yourself all the time.
Yeah.
And then what other things can you do? You could learn a new language.
Duolingo's dead, but you can help resurrect them.
And also, depending on what your nonprofit does, that might be like beneficial and they might be fine with you like straight up doing that, not hiding it.
Hide it. I say always hide it.
I kind of am in that camp too. Yeah. Just because unfortunately people can say they're okay with something for 364 days out of the year. And then suddenly they're not okay with it. And suddenly it's like grounds for dismissal. And like it can just be tricky in that sense. But foster relationships, especially if they're wealthy, because they will be.
All right, next one.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I am 28 years old, she, her, and I have I need some advice on my relationship with my dad. There was a really awkward moment that happened on Christmas, but with some backstory first. I've just never been super close with my dad. Up until age 10 or 11, I went to his house every other weekend and on Christmas. But once he got married, when I was 12, that really stopped, and I would kind of see him once or twice a year. I would call him as a kid and like say, hi, how are you? And he wouldn't call me back. Like it would go to voicemail, all that. And I've kind of gotten very indifferent about my relationship. Like I really am okay, at least for me, seeing him once or twice a year. Sometimes I feel a bit guilty, but I mean, I have tried in the past. It's just hard. He has a new girlfriend now, and he has been with her for about 2 years, and she is nice. I've met her about like 3 or 4 times, and I saw her just before Christmas. I messaged both of them Merry Christmas on Christmas just to kind of break the ice because I hadn't heard from him that day, and he was going to be with her family. And then she mentioned like Merry Christmas and how she wanted to get together this year so I can meet like her family and stuff and get together. And I was like, sure, that would be fun. And then I don't know if they just don't realize how group messages work, but she messaged, so excited, glad she seems interested. Maybe she wants to be more involved in your life now. And it just really caught me off guard. And they started having like their own conversation in this group message, like about, I don't know, their plans for the week. And I just didn't respond. And I didn't mean to call in sooner. It's just a very weird situation that I've had with him. And it's hard to deal with just knowing how to communicate with him. And I don't know, I have been debating on if I should message him separately and ask like what they meant by that, like ask if he's even interested in having like a stronger relationship with me, because it really has never seemed like he's wanted to. Like, for example, like he came to my high school and college graduation, but never, like he didn't stay to say hi to me or give me a hug or take pictures or anything. It just seems like he shows up for show sometimes because he feels like that's what he has to do, not that he's interested in actually being a dad to me. I don't know. I feel like I've been rambling, but I just need advice. And if you think it's even worth sending that text message or if I should wait for them to reach out to me again, yeah, anything would be helpful. Thank you.
I have a lot of thoughts. I understand you deeply. Your instincts are spot on. He is doing this for show. There is no point in asking what he meant by it, because I will tell you what he meant by it. And what he meant by it is he has told his girlfriend that he has put this effort in and you have not. And he's been waiting, whether he has said, whether she's was born yesterday and he could have done 2 things. He could have said that he has been trying and you are not meeting him there at all, or you have explicitly said that you're not looking for a relationship or whatever. Or he could have quite literally said, she never reaches out, whatever, and then not even implied that it is his responsibility as an adult and the parent, who will always be more of the adult in the situation, to reach out more, as that is his job. So I don't know, whichever one he said based on which one she'd believe. So if she has kids, I'm going to say it's the first one. If she doesn't have kids, he might have been able to get away with the second one. But that is what he meant by it. And what she meant is that she believes that. And to me, that is like a twofold kind of issue, because the way you described your relationship with your dad and the way you described your dad, this happening in this text message conversation, I just learned about him today. I wasn't surprised by that at all. For her, she is newer to you. So someone believing that, to me, I also, when that's happened in my life, I kind of like look even more down upon those people, because I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I knew to expect that out of this person, but like, what do you mean you believed that? Like, what do you mean that's the narrative you believe? And sure, if you're going to like reach out, I think you'd probably be more effective reaching out to her, not to him, and just to be like, hey, and this is like, if you want to be really straightforward and be like, hey, not sure if you knew, but that was a group message, so I saw that. And what I've drawn from this conclusion is it sounds like my dad has told you that I have not been interested in a relationship with him. I have tried this since I was a kid. I say everything you said to us. And it's like, he does not reach out. He has never shown really any interest in a relationship. Our relationship that we have to this point is really only from me. I am the one having to pursue that. And like, it might not be a lot, but yeah, because I'm not getting anything. There's no reciprocation there. It all lands on me. So I just want to let you know that that's what's going on. She might respond. She might not. It might blow up their relationship. It might not. You sound indifferent and I don't know if indifference like a negative connotation in this instance, but like, I understand how you feel. Like, this is your normal. It's like truthfully not a big deal to you at this point anymore. And you have come to expect this. But I'm also of the belief that if a relationship that has already caused you so much strife as a kid, that you've gotten to the point as an adult where you are fine with and expect and are okay with behavior that people who have like very normal relationships with their parents would be like appalled by or devastated by. You've already gone through all of the pain of that relationship. So as an adult, if you're going to add more of that onto me, no. Like I'm meeting you where you are. You can't add any more onto this. You can't make this a bigger issue because I've already gotten past my issues with you. And if you want to start new ones here, like I've already paid my dues in terms of that. So I don't think anybody's entitled to have a relationship with us, let alone a parent who is, I agree with you. I think he is doing it for show. And don't take this the wrong way. You also might be doing a little bit of it for show. And that's fine. It might be like, I feel like I have to go through the motions because I don't know how I'll feel in X amount of years or whatever. So I think if you're fine seeing him twice a year, that's totally fine. And if you're fine seeing him once a year, that's also totally fine. But I think if getting into the weeds of this is going to cause more harm or cause more issues or make you feel any type of way about it, I don't know that it's really worth your time, especially because I think he's proven time and time again that he's probably just going to disappoint you. And my belief is I give people who regularly disappoint me, I give them less opportunities to disappoint me. They'll still disappoint me. I'm just not going to let you do it all the time. I'm going to walk into it knowing I'm going to get disappointed. So I'm going to act accordingly. And I'm only going to give you so much so I can control that. And it's unfortunate, but I don't think spreading yourself even so like thin and like just bending over backwards, it's never going to get the result that it deserves. Like it's never going to be met with the same effort that you've put in, unfortunately.
Yeah. Earlier this week, I accidentally sent some people a text message that was meant for my sisters. Thankfully, it was Jamila and Mecca. Thankfully.
Holy shit.
And I was telling them about what
I was going to say, it wasn't me, because sometimes you mix up which Meghan.
Yeah, I mix up Meghan's, but like, no.
Sister group chat. That's a terrifying thing to be out in the ether when you realize it's the wrong recipient.
And the way I realized it was Jamila literally wrote back, "Wait, what?"
Thank God it was them. Holy shit.
I know, but it was well, they've heard it by now. I was telling my sisters about what happened at the spa. Stop. But it was complete. We had already been talking about the spa, so it was completely mid-convo, out of context. And they're like, "What the fuck is this about?" So funny. And then I had to like explain everything that happened. But it could have been worse depending on who I had accidentally sent it to. But I know how embarrassing it is to accidentally, because I didn't know how. I know them, but they're not like, we've only known each other a couple months at this point. So it's not like I wasn't exactly sure how they were going to take what I had said.
Well, it's also a crazy fucking story.
It's a crazy fucking story. So
at any point where you hop in.
Yeah, I understand like the embarrassment, but if I were you, I would have, and you still have the chance to just respond back in that group message and say, "Hey, what do you mean?" And say exactly what you want. Like, do you actually want a relationship with him, or do you not? Like, are you just kind of like, yeah, at this point we're just going through the motions of being related? Then yeah, but like, also you were the child. Like, he is the person. He didn't stay for your graduation. Like, he came to your graduation and didn't stay to take pictures. What kind of relationship does he have with your mom?
To me, this also reads like girlfriend is younger. Girlfriend doesn't have kids, because girlfriend wanting you to be incorporated and involved with her family, to me, is like, that's a very sweet, very kind gesture. But it seems like she's believing everything that he's been saying.
Yeah, because if she had kids, then she would first want you to have a relationship with her kids.
And she would know if he was like, "Oh, you haven't talked to my daughter in a while," she'd be like, "Call her."
Yeah.
Why aren't you? Call her. Like, what do you mean? Like, it would be like so easy like that. What if you, and this is chaotic of me and I don't know your personality, what if she just messages in the group and be like, LMAO, Dad, there's no way you've been telling her that I am the one who hasn't wanted to have a relationship? Like, ha, 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 ha.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but again, you're not the one that's supposed to be doing the reaching out. It never should have been like, do we want to have a relationship?
To be calling dad and then waiting for him to call her back.
Yeah. It sounds like one of those parents that are like, well, the phone works two ways. I'm a fucking kid.
And you will and even when you become an adult, you are always their kid.
Mm-hmm.
If it makes you feel any better, call it. Like, this is so, you could have written this, hundreds of thousands of people could have written this like exact thing. Like, it is like their MO of this same mentality of, well, I didn't know you wanted me to, like, whatever. And it's like, you were so not present in my childhood and you were so not proactive in being a parent that you don't know how to be a parent. This is the fundamentals of parenting 101. And you don't know how to be a parent, but you want me to treat you like a parent.
Mm-hmm.
You want all of it. You want all of that there.
Because it never should have been a question about can I or should I be in your life. It would have just been like, I am always here. There's never any doubt that I want to be in your life.
Mm-hmm. And like the fact that having a relationship with him now more than like, because I'm going to bet that you say you saw him every other week for a bit, like when you were growing up, but like that didn't even seem like it lasted for an extended period of time. He's asking for you to have a drastic, or he's not asking, it's like you'd be having a drastic shift in your relationship when in reality, you've probably spent more years of your life seeing him 2 to 4 times a year than seeing him every other week. Like this is the normal. And the fact that he has clearly told his girlfriend, he clearly knows it's not the normal because he's had to justify it to his girlfriend. And to me, it's like, this isn't the normal. And instead of owning that, taking accountability and doing anything to change that and rectify this, because like, he should be glad that you're not like fully no contact. I mean, like, don't speak to my dad at all. Instead of doing that, he's blamed you and he's put the onus on you. And to me, that just screams like, he doesn't know how to be a parent and he still doesn't know how to be a parent into adulthood. And sometimes people think when their kids get past 18, then it's like everything that happened before that is it's whatever. And now you get to have a relationship like adults, but you're still a parent. It's never going to be just a typical adult and adult relationship. So it has to be on your terms. And it doesn't seem like you want to see him more than you're seeing him.
All right. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into the rest.
TaxAct knows small business owners can sometimes use a little help with their taxes. That's why TaxAct has Expert Assist, a team of live tax experts ready to answer any questions you may have. Think of them as your own personal sidekick. Not like one of those funny talking animal sidekicks, more like the super smart nerding out on tax code and business casual attire sidekick, but just as helpful and lovable. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
Children's Dimetapp knows the sick day struggle is real. But it doesn't have to be. When sickness strikes, Children's Dimetapp works safely and quickly to relieve cough and other cold symptoms. And your kiddos won't run from its yuck-free sweet grape flavor. Trusted by parents for over 50 years. Children's Dimetapp, your stress-less sick day solution. Use as directed.
Faraday presenta Ojos con Alergia y Picazón contra el jardinero. Y el ganador es Faraday Extra Fuerte. Para aliviar la picazón de los ojos por alergia, actúa más rápido y supera a Claritin y Flonase aún a las 24 horas. Faraday, adelante.
And we're back, and it's time for another. I'm 32, she, they. I met a girl on Bumble BFF. We bonded over both being horse girls. So we hung out and had a really good time. That was a year ago. Now she's one of my best friends and we hang out all the time. The problem is I now think I'm in love with her. She's gay too, and I took the risk of telling her that I like her. Well, she said that she only sees me as a friend, and that's all she was looking for when we met. Hence, Bumble BFF. I think we'd be good together since we have the same values and we always have a good time together. She told me that I'm usually her type, but she's just not into me. Ouch. I'm heartbroken, but I don't want to lose my best friend. How do I get over this? Horseback riding. Kidding. Do you have other friends?
Right. Is there other people you can date? Use Bumble. Use the other part. You don't look for somebody to date. I know you weren't looking for somebody to date on Bumble BFF. You just happened to fall in love with the person that you were looking for friends with. So use Bumble, the other part of Bumble, the dating part, to find somebody to date. And maybe look for some more friends as well.
Yeah. You might be an all or not, like you might be someone who just like pours everything into the relationships you're in, and like you foster individual relationships one-on-one. And so then it can become like, it becomes everything. But I don't think these sound like good enough reasons to love her. And like, are you sure you have feelings for her? Because you said, we have the same values, we have a good time together. That's a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I have a good time with lots of people. I have a good, like, also it's not mutually exclusive, same values and having a good time together. Like this to me is something that like you should want for more in a relationship. And like a friendship is the basis, is like a good base of every relationship. You should have the same values. You should have a good time together. And then there's more after that. But I agree. I think you need to pursue more friendships and then go on dates.
Mm-hmm. So do both. So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah. And this is going to sound rich coming from me because Melissa and we talked all the time and we spend full days together. Granted, we are working.
But y'all don't even hear half of what we're doing.
Not at all. Not at all. But I was going to say that like you at 32, please don't take this the wrong way. You should not be talking to your best friend 24 hours a day, all day, or hanging out with her every day and hanging out with her all weekend, because it doesn't even give your brain enough capacity or space to seek other relationships, or even to see other people in your life who you might have relationships with, but they're so far in the distance that you only have tunnel vision for this. Like you need to pace your life so there's room for that. There's room for missing that. There's room for wanting companionship. There's room for wanting more friends and, whatever. So
yeah, because we have other friends. You have mods. I entertain other gentlemen.
She never tells me about them.
And I'll tell you once I'm ready to settle down.
I know.
You'll be the first to know.
And it'll be like, been seeing this one for 3 years. And I'll be like, and you won't be lying. I will be the first to know, but it will not have been like brand new. Just met last month. It's fine. I expect it from you. I'm not offended.
As you shouldn't be.
I'd be concerned if it was the other way. I'd be like, are you in a cult? Like, what has happened to you?
Right. You gotta like diversify your portfolio.
Yes. That's such a good way to put it. And you need to clear your calendar. Yeah. Because like think of it like a job search. If you are so swamped with work every single day, it is consuming everything in your life. You don't have time to even look for a new job, let alone even wish or want for a new job, because you can't even see what else is out there. But I think the same way when it comes to dating. And like before Mats and I got together, we would talk all the time. He was like one of my very best friends. And like and we would flirt all the time. And I had a friend be like, because you're doing that with him, you're not going on dates with people. You're not swiping on apps or doing anything like that, because he's already ticking this box, but he's not officially doing that. Like you need to remove that part of your life if it's not actually going to fulfill that part of your life, so you can miss it and then seek it out. But when you're getting it all without that, you don't have to end the friendship, but you do need to pull back in a way that makes you diversify that portfolio.
Right. Get some more friends, get some more lovers.
And I quite literally think it's like a toggle on Hinge where you do like, right? BFF and dating. It's not 2 different apps, isn't it?
Same app.
Yeah. Get back on there.
All right. We're going to take another break. When we get back, we'll get into Don't Blame Them.
Patron, we craft our tequila using high-quality natural ingredients without additives. No sweeteners, no extracts, no secrets. In fact, Patron's secret ingredient is that we have no secret ingredients. Just 100% additive-free tequila, made with 100% Weber Blue Agave, water, and thyme. Patron, 100% additive-free tequila. Visit patrontequila.com to learn more. The perfect way to enjoy Patron is responsibly. Copyright 2025, imported by Patron Spirits Company, Coral Gables, Florida. Tequila 40% ABV.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
What makes a great pair of glasses? At Warby Parker, it's all the invisible extras without the extra cost. Their designer quality frames start at $95, including prescription lenses, plus scratch-resistant, smudge-resistant, and anti-reflective coatings, and UV protection, and free adjustments for life. To find your next pair of glasses, sunglasses, or contact lenses, or to find the Warby Parker store nearest you, head over to warbyparker.com. That's warbyparker.com.
We're back. It's time for Don't Blame Them. This is where a listener will call in with their own advice pertaining to a call or a write-in that we had on a previous episode. They might have personal experience, they might have professional experience, or they just might have some insight that was different than what we said.
So this is about the caller who was blackout drunk and is getting brief snippets of their memory back of having sex with one of their friends that they're not actually attracted to. And during the call, Megan and I had said that because you were blackout drunk, you actually can't consent. So therefore, this is sexual assault. And then this is someone calling in with their thoughts on that. Here we go.
Hi there. This is actually my first time calling in. I've been listening for a couple of years, actually, for probably a while, like before the pandemic. But anyways, I felt like I wanted to call in for specifically the Don't Blame Them for the Don't Blame Me Buying My Own Valentine episode, the fourth call, which has a lot of sensitive content. But I just want to say, first of all, Meghan and Melisa handled that like really, really well. I just wanted to add a couple things. I'm an RA at my university. I'm graduating this year. I've been an RA for a few years now, so I have experience in this. We actually get training for a lot of things, depends on the campus, but specifically at my campus. I get sexual assault response and prevention training, things like that, and how to handle cases with residents like this. And so the really important thing for us to know is that every RA at every single campus in the United States, is a mandated reporter. So anything that they say to their RA, they will have to count. It is not a situation, it depends on if I'm talking to my friend, it's different. If I'm talking to a resident, I'm on duty, I'm required to count. So that's just important just for the caller. But we can do at university campuses, depends on the campus obviously, but every school is technically, it's its own jurisdiction. That's why you have police for specifically that school, and they have judicial affairs for every single university. And so they can do a campus restraining order, and it will include the buildings, it can include classes, things like that, and then technically it doesn't have to go on the record. You can take it to court, things like that, but if this caller approaches this guy, I'm forgetting their name, and he does not handle it in the proper way or keeps making advances and things like that, and they feel really uncomfortable, especially in their space where they're supposed to feel comfortable. This is their home, and if they do not feel comfortable in this space, the RA should sure handle it, and they can also request a female RA if they really want to. Anyways, so I hope that really helped. Hope you guys have a great day.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It never even crossed my mind, which it should have, because I know that there's legal systems throughout every school, but it's its own, essentially, jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought of it in those terms, but that makes sense.
Yeah. That's why for other things, they've been able to get away with some things because...
So I, as someone who's in a sorority, that's immediately what I think of.
It's easier to pay things off. And
yeah. Or even like certain things that I remember being like, this doesn't feel like this should be allowed. And then the repercussions are just, we'll take this from here because we'll divvy out like all of that kind of stuff. And they just do it themselves. And then it's usually a slap on the wrist and whatever. So that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I think it's also good to remember that, like they said, and if you're just make sure that you are intentional with the things you tell someone who's a mandated reporter. Because even if you say, I don't want to do anything about this, that doesn't... They have to. So it's for everyone's benefit. It might not feel like that. And like a lot of people take issue with that with like therapists or whatever. And like some therapists will use their own judgment to be like, you know what, I think this person's okay or whatever. But like legally, they are a mandated reporter. And even, there is no like taking back. There is no, can I say something off the record? There is none of that. They have to do what they're going to do. So making sure that you know that going into it.
And I've been in that situation too, where someone told me something, and because of my position, I had to tell what happened.
Yeah. But just also know that just because they're mandated reporter doesn't mean they can make you press charges at all. But they do have to report it.
Yeah.
And that in itself, I think like everything they said about like solving it within whatever capacity you want. In whatever capacity, like whatever you're looking for, the problems you're looking for that you're facing, finding solutions for those that are your comfort level, that is not doing something that you're not comfortable with. So I hope that they are listening, and thank you for calling in with that. I think is this our first RA?
Might be.
And you should know as an RA that I still follow my RA from college, the only year I went. And I guess the only year I would have had an RA anyway. We are still mutuals on Instagram and Facebook. We still comment on each other's things. I still love him to death. Shout out Reggie. You're the best. He got some like nice, cool like shoe storage I saw recently. And I was like, nice, Reggie. Got in the always dressed very nice. And yeah, I always think fondly of, I know some people like might not remember, but like a good RA you remember.
You also remember a bad one, because I remember mine.
Totally.
He wasn't specifically bad. He just smelled.
Oh, Reggie never smelled.
He was like a walk-on football player and wouldn't clean his things. So he had like his football pads and stuff in the room.
I think that should disqualify you.
Yep.
No, that should disqualify you. I think I even have memories of people smelling and Reggie being like, showering one, I'm going to teach you how to not smell. Like, stop. I don't know if the school would have said he was a wonderful RA.
Oh, yeah. You've told stories about.
Yeah, he was to me. And he was the best. And he actually cared about us.
And his job is to care about you.
And that's what I think, like, fundamentally, anytime that, like, if I thought he was going to get in trouble, I was like, I'll go to whoever our school, I'll tell them. I was like, you are supposed to care about us and you care about us. The college might not like the way you care about us. But part of the way you care about us is you want to make sure we don't get arrested. Thank you.
Well, that's the end of the episode.
We hope you all enjoyed. As always, you can watch the video version on Patreon. You can support the show there. We also are there ad-free. And we do live streams twice a month where we hang out, we talk, we chit-chat. You can meet some of the cast and characters we've talked about on the show so many times. My twin.
Which has said, for your birthday, Melissa, I'm going to make these graphics from now on for the ones for the forms. And I told her to go away. Also, someone else wrote in and talked about how much they liked them. So there you go.
She's trolling you. As I would too.
Nope. She said it was because it reminds her that she wants to write in, but she's shy. So she hasn't worked up the courage yet.
Who's shy?
Whoever it was that...
Oh my God. I thought you were saying my twin. I said, my twin is a lot of things.
No.
That bitch is not shy.
No. She says your twin also says that she enjoyed talking to a brick wall. And I said,
Facts. I'm not surprised. Also, if you are in the DMV, we have friends for you.
Mm-hmm.
International people are from all over. You're traveling abroad. Yeah. Hey, you're going on a work trip. You need a couch to crash on. That's happening. People are doing that with each other. But it's a great time. You're moving to a new city. You're just trying to make new friends. You're trying to go out less, spend less money on like dinner and drinks. Join the Patreon.
Yep.
Support women in STEM, women in business. Support women.
Just women.
Support women.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.
This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
Hello, I am Kristen Russo.
And I am Jenny Owen Youngs.
We are the hosts of Buffering the Vampire Slayer once more with spoilers, a rewatch podcast covering all 144 episodes of, you guessed it, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
We are here to humbly invite you to join us for our 5th Buffy prom, which, if you can believe it, we are hosting at the actual Sunnydale High School. That's right. On April 4th and 5th, we will be descending upon the campus of Torrance High School, which was the filming location for Buffy's Sunnydale High, to dance the night away to 90s music in the iconic courtyard, to sip on punch right next to the Sunnydale High fountain, and to nerd out together in our prom best inside of the set of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
All information and tickets can be found at bufferingcast.com/prom. Come join us.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
Listening to a podcast should be time well spent, and I promise it will be if you'll give this podcast a try. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in every episode, I talk with leading experts on topics I know you will find fascinating. From why people can't keep secrets, what your favorite music says about you, why your pet acts in strange ways, and so much more. Something You Should Know is designed to give you information you can use in your life and give you great intel that you can share with others. I'm told it's a binge-worthy podcast, and with over 1,000 episodes, there's a lot to binge on. Something You Should Know has been ranked in the top of the Apple Podcast charts consistently for a long time. I know you're going to like this. I just need to get you to try it. Something You Should Know. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts.